Hello, everyone. Welcome to GT Time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us, as always, is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones,
Sweet.
Daniel Bloodworth,
Hi.
and sitting in for Michael Damiani, Ian Hank.
I got chocolate on my shirt.
Good chocolate. That's his beginning.
This is the plan.
How much chocolate did you get on your shirt?
Just a dot. Also, I think I was wearing this shirt last time I was on GT Time.
Most people listen. Most people.
Good.
They probably
forget I said anything.
Didn't realize
It's,
you could merge those names, Damianian.
Damiani,
Damiani.
Ian Hank. Ian's name exists within Damiani.
True.
Whoa. You can't spell Damiani without Ian.
Yeah.
True.
It's pretty great. It's the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
people are watching this.
Yeah.
In the future.
But it's the day before Thanksgiving when we shot it.
Yes.
So we don't know what happened yesterday.
Right, we don't know what happens. I assume nothing. Nobody likes to drop news on
I played Sonic
Thanksgiving.
Boom.
We've already seen the Jurassic World trailer.
We've
yeah, I'll
seen
drop
it.
news today. Star Wars trailer comes out the day this airs.
Star Wars
Oh, yeah?
teaser. Let's
Star
be
Wars
specific.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because a teaser is a type of trailer. You know, so like you can call
Okay.
something
Yeah,
a trailer.
a crappy one.
But right.
So wait, what are you doing on Friday? You're gonna go watch
Hopefully
that?
go see Big Hero 6, which I haven't seen yet. So
Okay.
that'll be
I haven't seen
a win to get a new Star Wars trailer and see a cool Pixar film
Do you think?
or Disney animation film.
Do you
Sorry.
think Big Hero 6, there will be people who watch that teaser, watch that 88 seconds of Star Wars, and then
leave.
get up and leave?
When I saw episode 1 back in '98,
Yeah.
they played it at the end because I went to go see the
Wait,
water.
no, 99.
Well, it came out in '99.
Oh, you mean the
I
trailer?
think the teaser
Oh,
might have
okay.
come out in '98.
Well done.
But thank you, Blood.
People.
On it. And it was I went to go see the Water Boy, and it played before and after. So
Nice.
everybody just kind of talked and chatted, like, "Oh my God, what was that Gungan thing coming through the smoke? What was going on there?"
No way, throughout the whole movie?
Yeah, and then like at the end, it was like, "Oh shit, okay," and then they like watched it again. So I don't know if they're doing that, but
My friend on Facebook said, I got my tickets for the Star Wars trailer.
Yeah.
And then it was like tickets for, I don't even know.
Brandon, you should probably get those now.
probably, yeah,
They're probably going to sell out, even if it is
Yeah.
Big Hero 6 2 weeks after
because
its
it's
release.
a very specific theater. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. You personally, Brandon, are you more excited about this teaser than you were for Episode 1's teaser?
no, because the prequels just burnt everybody. So
You know what's funny?
that naturally has to
But
bring
the
it down a
episode
little
1
bit. But
teaser was pretty freaking sweet.
yeah,
Oh, it was. Boy, was it ever. You know, it's kind of like about love. You know what I mean? Like, we know this next movie is going to be better than Episode 1,
Right.
but there's no way we'll be as excited for this next movie as we were for Episode
Because
1.
we've been
Right.
burned.
Yeah.
Our
Gosh, that
hearts
sucks.
broken.
Let's talk about corrections. Begin corrections music.
time to get burned again.
Yeah.
Time to get burned again. I announced the Smash Bros. Release date incorrectly. These are all tiny corrections. It was obviously last Friday. Last week we said like too much.
Sorry, that's probably my fault.
Someone said
It's all of our fault.
you saying like his
I
like
wasn't even here and it's my fault.
wearing off on us. Like
Yeah.
if you hear some person say, like I just did, if you hear a person say a word a bunch of times, you're going to end up saying that exact same thing.
You know what I mean?
I do. And then
That was a Cal Bossman joke. I don't know
oh,
if
this
you picked that up.
one's specifically for Ian. Night Owl wants you to know that Miyamoto's comments, take them with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I get most of my news through Elise, who gives it to us for the show, and so I just read a headline and
Well,
then make
what show?
jokes about it. Mandatory update. So like, yeah, a story like that, I don't actually hear the news.
Right. We just we get basically a headline and a blurb, and we have to write a joke about it after
'Cause
that.
It's just too much.
Just like
I
the
look
rest
at
of the
news I
internet.
care about, but I don't care about that.
I think you're still more educated than most your casual person.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, in video game terms.
Oh, well, maybe.
And corrections music.
You do tell me lots of things that I didn't know about games. Like you bring up games I'd never heard of. So
Arcanum. You got a lot of credit for
You got
bringing up
your own-
Arcanum.
Dude,
last
Arcanum's a good game. That game is awesome.
I've never heard of it before.
Dude, you should
I know the
play it.
name, but I
think it's
haven't
on
played it.
Good Old Games. It's real good. It's like $9 probably or less. $5.
Cool. Thanksgiving game.
Yeah. Huge RPG.
Let's talk about the news this week. We had I don't know if I can count it. You know I love game announcements. I think it kind of counts. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin
Such a
was
classy
announced
name.
this week. Coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in April. April is immediately after Bloodborne. Do you think that's intentional?
I noticed that, and I was like, "This everyone's gonna." I was like, "I'm gonna still be playing Bloodborne probably, but I'm gonna buy this also."
April 7th is the release date, by the way, so it's very early April even.
Yeah.
It's probably, yeah, they probably didn't want to step on Bloodborne. And this is definitely like their Game of the Year edition or whatever thing. I mean, that's, you know, I think it was even like titled that in the press release, even if it wasn't like officially in there, like the documents title was that.
The documents title is...
Like basically referring to it as the Game of the Year edition, and then it's like, oh, there's the name of it.
No, so please explain what a documents title is.
A file name? I didn't need to
The
explain
title
what
of
a
the
file
document-
name is.
What?
No, like, this is Inside Blood. Like, what'd you
That's what was
receive?
in the email, yeah.
What was that email?
It was like a fact sheet.
Yeah, it's just when they alerted us to the news, yeah.
And it said
8 hours before the public.
Blood knew about this 8 hours before.
We all
anyone
did. He
else.
emailed it to all of us.
So not everyone reads their emails constantly.
That's very true.
So it is essentially Game of the Year edition. That's why I think it's weird. It's called Father of the First Sin,
Scholar of the First.
Scholar of the First Sin.
Finally, an HD re-release that we can all get excited about.
Yeah, why is it called Scholar of the First Sin?
Cause they're classy. They're not gonna call it remastered.
I actually don't know what that refers to. Do you know
It's
what that
lore
refers to?
stuff.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into it a little more, but
All right, I'm going to submit a theory, Brandon. I want you to say if you think my theory is sound or not. I think it's called Scholar of the First Sin to make it seem like maybe a newer game than it really is.
There is some new stuff though, right?
it's got
Yeah.
all the
Or
DLCs
teased
and
new stuff.
It's got like I think the fact sheet said it has 2 new NPCs.
Yeah, they've got stuff that's kind of weaved throughout. So
Yeah.
so if you are somebody that's already played the game,
There's
like
new
there's
stuff.
something for you to follow through the whole course of the game.
Yeah.
And
Which is awesome.
yeah.
Like I'm so jazzed about it. Also, like I don't know, like playing it all as
Unpredictably.
one big thing. With
I would like to offer the
resolution.
GTA 5 as classier because it doesn't have a name. It's just Grand Theft Auto 5 on a new console.
You know I love that.
and that's what this
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I
it's just,
think that's
it's
good.
just Dark Souls 2 on a new console.
yeah.
But they're like, no, it's this new thing. It's like it's.
I
it's
am
not-
glad that they got
It's a new
away.
edition.
I am glad that they got away from the Game of the Year edition, even though they probably could go with that. You know, I mean, they probably will get some Game of the Years, but it's like seeing like 15 games come out every year with Game of the Year editions. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
disgusting.
too pedestrian for From Software.
Is this the last one? Do you think we'll still be seeing remasters beyond April?
Sure.
Borderlands.
You think Borderlands is still
I
going to
think
happen? The
Borderlands could
pre-sequel?
happen.
Is there anyone that you want? Brandon, when you said sure, you seem very confident.
Oh, it just seems like such an easy way to make money.
They'll probably
And I don't
like-
think, and I don't think it's something where developers are like, oh man, we need to remaster all of these awesome games right now. It's like take your time, you know.
Yeah, I
You
think
have
we
tons of
will
time.
see stuff like what they hinted, like maybe Uncharted would happen. You know, like
Series
like a month
yeah.
before Uncharted 4 releases. Here you go. Here's your Uncharted collection.
I could see them doing like a Batman, or if that Skyrim mod is like wildly popular, I bet they HD re-release like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim.
Oh, that'd be so great.
I'm
That'd be
sorry,
crazy.
what is the Skyrim mod?
Someone's making a mod where they're like, I think it's called Beyond Skyrim or something. It's like this team of people making a mod to include locations from Oblivion and Morrowind.
Oh, okay.
Oh, to make them look
On
like
the
they're within
Skyrim
Skyrim.
engine, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I could see Bethesda being like, this is a pretty good idea. We should do that.
Do we want those?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I'd play Morrowind again.
to play
HD.
Morrowind with the Skyrim engine. would
Dude,
be,
Morrowind,
yes, please.
Morrowind, oh man. Never played the story, but God, that game is amazing. I've done so many hours in that game.
You too, Brandon? Are you a story ignorer in those games?
No,
Oh, okay.
but I love open world stuff. So, and I played on the Xbox, and that was dope back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I played Oblivion for maybe 60 hours, and the first gate never opened.
That's
They're
pretty
like,
cool.
they're like, hey, go talk to this guy. I was like, nah,
No.
I'm gonna be the head of the Assassin's League, and the Mages Guild, and the Thieves Guild.
So you were notorious before you even opened the first gate.
I never opened the first gate.
That's pretty cool.
I was not interested in that.
You had your own game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can see why that's appealing. Okay, well, let's talk about another remaster that came out recently. Halo Master Chief Collection. It's having issues.
Is it?
Yeah.
I wish Ben were here today.
Oh, yeah.
Because we actually wanted to get do some on camera with
We
him.
all do.
Oh, what were we gonna do on camera with him?
I still haven't completely formulated how it's going to work. I don't know if it would be a standalone video or if we would attach it to the review
Sure.
itself. But yeah, just to kind of, clear the air. So like, okay, why did it get this score when you guys are playing this thing? And it's, and it's because when he did the review, servers were up, matchmaking was up. He had no indication that this stuff was going to go down with the multiplayer.
What is this stuff? What's happening right now?
Well, what's happening is there's just a lot of matchmaking issues. People aren't able to really get in and play multiplayer. It's kind of more or less broken. I mean, it's getting better with the patches, but like they're having to continually do things on server side and client side to get things running the way they were when Ben played it, basically.
What's the last major game that came out that wasn't broken?
Call of Duty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fine.
Call of
But I
Duty.
mean,
They
that's-
specifically said when I was at the review event, they're like, we do not stand for that. That is
Yeah.
not what Call of Duty does.
That's respectable.
And you look at how gigantic Call of Duty is and how much money they pour into that, and how many different teams they have working on different versions, crisscrossing across the years. That's what it takes to release a game that big that works flawlessly. That's how hard it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're also talking about making a glitches video, which I still want to do, but
Yeah.
I do have a chip on my shoulder about so many people being like, you idiots, and your broken game. It's like,
Yeah.
you go make a game. Go do it. Go make a AAA game and try to make it work day one for everybody on every console.
Well, that's what-
Be my guest, have fun.
That's why I think it's crazy they say we don't stand for that. That means that is their mission is to make sure there's no brokenness.
But-
That's
Right, but it
insane.
doesn't mean
But-
they're like put more smarts into it. It's
Putting
just,
those two things together, though, I don't know how true it is. Like, probably somebody would have to verify it. But there is this thing going around. People are saying that Activision is issuing copyright claims on people that put up glitch videos from Advanced Warfare.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're
yeah,
like
they can't do
having
that.
they're going like through like shady means
Nefarious
to pull
means.
stuff down because they can.
Also, like, Call of Duty, like, I mean, this isn't obviously 100% true, but, like, they've effectively released the same game over and over again for however many years. Like, after doing that, you should get it right?
Well, so
I mean, that actually is.
Like, I don't
kind
know
of
if this is a new engine or what, but, like,
I mean, that's a little bit too harsh on Call of Duty, but
Right,
in a
obviously.
way, what Halo is doing with their playlists and stuff is kind of a new thing, and I think it's similar to what Drive Club is doing and why that stuff broke. They're doing these. They're trying to do these. They're trying to do the matchmaking differently than they have, and they're not getting it right.
that's what I think is super dumb. This is
Yeah.
a Halo game that doesn't work online, and I think it's why when Ben was writing his review, it was probably safe to assume it would work online. It's insane that it doesn't. A
Yeah.
Halo game.
does
Yeah.
this mean we should release all reviews a week late?
That's a fair question. Should we do that?
So yeah, this goes back to the conversation I had with Ben.
Yeah.
I think it's still best to do it on a case by case basis. And as much as it sucks that Halo is more or less wrong, I still think it was the right call to make because he didn't have any indication. So at that time, that's the right call to make.
Yeah, because the servers were up. It
Yeah.
wasn't like they weren't having the servers go live until the day, like Smash.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like the crew; they're not even going to let anybody review it until it's out. Like they're giving us the copies that day.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean,
IGN
with
will
me,
get it
probably
somehow.
with Drive Club, I probably made the wrong call because I saw issues and I'm like, is this going to get fixed? Is this going to get fixed? And then not only did it not get fixed, it like got worse.
Yeah. So do you think going forward we'll see fewer and fewer reviews come out a week before release?
I mean, like I said, it's going to be a judgment call. We're going to look at it. We're going to see how it goes. I mean, but a lot of the stuff came late to us this year anyway. We didn't have time to get Assassin's Creed done on time.
Yeah.
Because Assassin's Creed was late, then we didn't have time to get Far Cry done on time. So it's, I mean, we'll see. It's just kind of a messy Q4.
If anything, being understaffed has been a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I
oh,
caught
look at
that.
this game, it's terrible.
What?
Brandon, where do you stand on this kind of thing? I think it's a very complicated issue of maybe these bugs will get fixed and maybe they won't.
Yeah, I don't think there's like one right answer. Like I don't want to tell people how to feel about that. I just think it's difficult for me to apply that to a review, because to me a review is a critical assessment of the work produced by that team that went on that disc. Whereas like you talk about technical glitches, like that could be totally different next year. And then we make this video where we're like, oh, the multiplayer just sucks. And a year later, like it doesn't. So then we're wrong now. You know, and so then
Yeah,
it's weird.
but I mean, I think that's a situation we're just stuck in now. Like, our review is good for the day it goes up, and then maybe 2 days later, all that stuff gets fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like Damiani and myself, classic example. Assassin's Creed Unity, glitches did not bother me. I did not find them. I found one little guy who had a weird looking face. When I went through crowds, did little character models popped up here and there. Never affected my gameplay ever. Game never crashed. I never had quests that didn't load. I never had objects that vanished. I got through the entire game. I loved it, and it was great. And I gave it a more favorable score than other people. Damiani played Smash Brothers, didn't like the online, didn't like how that worked, and that seriously affected his score. So it wasn't that like, oh, there's a rule that it has to. It's just like, does that actually affect your enjoyment of the game before you get a chance to review the game? I mean, if I really wanted to be safe about it, I wouldn't review Destiny for 2 months after it came
Right.
out.
True.
I still haven't
2
played Vault of
years.
Glass.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, should I have waited? Like, I don't have any regrets. You know, and it's like, what if it doesn't work
Well,
now when they release more stuff?
And
I
one
don't-
of the things too is, you know, part of the reason to do a review is so people know what the game is like before they buy the game. And
Right.
most people are going to buy the game day one, even if that's stupid. Like, that's when people are buying the game. So that's what we try to shoot for, is to get it out there before they buy the game.
Which is going to become, I think, increasingly less possible. Like in the case of the crew, you won't be able to.
Right.
I also find it hard to critically assess bugs. It's like something works or it doesn't. You know, it's
Yeah.
like then that conversation's over. You know, whereas like if you talk about like the music or the art design or you know the way the story structure works, or the way characters or dialogue or anything, like that's a conversation. We can talk about that for hours. But it's like you either matchmake in Halo or you don't. That's it. You
Yeah.
know, it's like that. I don't know how long you can talk about that or really like you know critically assess that. So
No, that's the
to me,
weird
it's also
stuff.
kind of boring, which is why I don't really focus on that.
But I
Because
mean, I
your
think-
experience could differ from mine. It could matter to you. It could not matter to me.
But I mean, I think it comes down to the overall quality, and like you said, like if it is stopping you from enjoying the game somehow, you know, like I noted several of them in my Assassin's Creed Rogue review because it's like, oh, cool, I killed a polar bear, and then his like head slides into the wall, and I can't skin it because the button prompt is at the head, and like I killed a polar bear for the first time, and now I can't get the
I'm
skin.
sorry, its head was sticking out of the wall?
Into the wall, so you couldn't get into the
It
wall.
slid into the wall, yeah.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, when he
In a
gets
honey
stuck
jar?
in.
No, not
yeah,
really.
yeah, when Winnie the Pooh is
It was
stuck
just
in
like the
wall?
nose like slid into the front of the wall. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Like-
putting the point that you're supposed to click on in exclusively the polar bear's head
Yeah.
is a design choice that you can talk about. That was something that they did that was a bad choice. That a glitch combined with that design choice stopped you, impeded you from getting progress in your game. So again, like it's a difference between like you either flick the switch where matchmaking works or turn it off versus I think they shouldn't have put that point in the polar bear's head. I think that was a bad design choice. It's like
Sure.
there you go, write that into your review.
And again, it's personal opinion.
Totally, which is why we do bylines now, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Because you can direct all of your Smash Brothers rage right at Damian.
Ian, you started a thought.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, to me, like the severity of the glitch matters too. Like I was playing Dragon Age, and I've got one mission I can't turn in because the radial dialogue wheel like fades in but doesn't come in all the way, so you can't do it. And then I had one part where the game froze, and like I just quit and started over, like booted it back up and kept going, and I'm just not going to turn in that other quest. You know, it's not like the end of the world. I'm like, the game's still fun, but like if it corrupted my save, like happened
Right.
to some people, I'd never play that game again.
I had a wonderful one, and wonderful I mean terrible. Fallout 3, for whatever reason, I was unable to. The look controls just got stuck looking forward. I could not aim my gun. I could not look left and right. I could not look up and down. I was just stuck doing this thing.
Whoa.
And
Describe this thing to
like
listeners.
just looking straight ahead, and I could like strafe, and I could move backwards and forwards, but I couldn't look.
The right analog stick just stopped working.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
And it was not something I could just reboot like that. If I went to an older save file, it was still there. I had to actually go back and lose like 2 or 3 hours of progress in order to get my right look back.
Weird. So you went back far enough into the game and then it was fixed?
Yeah.
Weird. So like something just.
But if it's like if I didn't have those save files, I would have been totally
Yeah.
out of it. That would have been it. That would have been the end of my Fallout 3 experience.
I'm kind of glad we got to talk about this. Was what Final Bossman was going to be about this week. Was like I think we all have a certain tolerance. We have an allowance for weird things to happen in games, and then like once it gets to be too much, we're not liking it, and like you know.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot
Puma
of.
Lady, I wouldn't want that patched out. That freaking was amazing.
Oh, and Red Dead, yeah.
I'm sorry. What is that?
Yeah, Puma Lady and the people flying around and like with their arms outstretched in Red Dead.
You wouldn't want
They were
that
like
patched
birds.
out?
No way,
Because it was
man.
hilarious.
It is
But
hilarious,
but
but
again,
I
it's
never
like
saw that.
this is something that people when Assassin's Creed Unity came out just dumped all over Unity because they're like, people with no faces. But then it was like Cougar Woman. It's like, that's hilarious. Red Dead's great. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. You know, so it's like it just
That's
depends. Again, it's about reviews in general. You have to aggregate everybody's scores. I actually really enjoy it when somebody either gives a game a super high score or a super low score because it's like, wow, something happened there. I'm really curious to read that person's review. Wow, I don't agree with them. Okay, I'm going to move on with my life. And it's the same thing with glitches. It's like, wow, that person, it just didn't like it at all.
Right.
That person, the glitches really, really bothered them. And that person, they didn't. And I know glitches don't bother me, so I'm going to side with that review. I'm going to make that purchase.
And again, it comes back to like you have to give your experience with the game. You can't really depend on like this aggregate of everybody posting these screenshots, you know, and rely on hearsay. Like you have to go with like, okay, how much did this really happen? When I played the game for 20, 30 hours, how much did this really happen? Because Matt Blair had a similar experience to you. Like other people that I know that were reviewing Little Big Planet 3, going on and on about these glitches and game-breaking things and having to reset the game. Matt didn't see any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it was just like they reviewed it before a patch came through or what.
They did
but-
do a patch to Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. The IGN review is like, hey, we know a patch came out, but we looked at the notes and it didn't coincide with anything we saw, so we didn't play it post-patch, but we're still pretty confident those things we were complaining about weren't fixed.
But you know, it's all presented there for you to understand. Their perception and their understanding of
and I think
their experience.
Perception is a big part of it too, because like Red Dead was it's a sequel, but like it had been a long time coming, and like it's a different thing, and it's Rockstar, and like so like the landscape surrounding that in the community, I think, is different than like Assassin's Creed, where it's like there's also like Ubisoft doing all this like weird monetization stuff, and like people are ready to hate Assassin's Creed because they come out all the time. There are 2 games coming out at once. Like it's the same thing over and over again. Like it's never that great anyway. Like
And Ubisoft, definitely has a smell on it
like
right now.
everyone wants to hate it.
Yeah.
So these glitches are like, no, death to Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed. Whereas like, you know, something like the Puma Lady, everyone's like, haha, that's great, Rockstar.
Yeah.
You guys, you.
Well,
silly
that's
guys."
also, I mean,
You know?
that's something that will generally happen to you while you're wandering around and not really doing anything important. Whereas the face thing, you're in a major cutscene and the guy's face isn't there,
Right.
and you have this horrifying thing. That's a little different.
Speaking of Red Dead, can we go back to talking about remasters?
Why? What do you're so
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
listeners,
His eyebrows are going insane right now.
Brandon had I think 25 eyebrow raises just then. That's
Red
not
Dead
easy.
Remastered, baby.
That's a lot of muscles in your forehead.
Yeah, I
How do
know.
you do that? That's the
I can only trigger that when I talk about Red Dead.
4 R's.
Red Dead Redemption Remastered.
No, they'll just call it Red Dead Redemption because Rockstar doesn't
Yeah,
care.
Red Dead Redemption on,
Yeah.
on PlayStation 4.
Yeah. That's a good
I
one.
highly, highly doubt
that
that's going to
real?
happen.
But it's a
I
good
would,
pick.
I would stop everything and play that game.
I'd
Again,
play that.
all the way over. I would stream it. 9.5 hours? Pff,
Yeah.
9.5 days.
I guess
of
we'll
Red Dead.
see. We'll see how GTA 5 does. I assume GTA 5 is actually going to do stupid well. There was another headline. I didn't put it in the show, but apparently just this week, GTA 5 is the #1 best-selling video game of all time in the UK officially at this point. Grand Theft Auto 5. Isn't that weird? The best-selling video game. That's it right there. Ever in the UK. How crazy is that?
Is that dollars wise? Is this like a 3D movie tickets?
Good question. I think
Sort
it's
of a thing,
copies.
or
I think
is
it's
it
copies
copies?
sold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I believe that.
And that's the one. So like, think of like the cultural relevance that will have in 10 years. It's insane to me.
All these UK people running around Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's
Now
Trevor?
you don't have
Where's
to
the
come here
comments?
because it's
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
Going on 405 traffic. Love
Yeah.
it.
Getting a completely wrong
Yeah,
perception
the
of
geography
what
is
life
pretty
is like
weird.
over here. Okay, so let's do one more news story. Sony, big Sony, Sony the corporation has a 3-year plan, cutting back on TVs and smartphones. The old bread and butter, focusing on PlayStation and image sensors, the new bread and butter.
Image sensors.
Image sensor.
Yeah, so these are basically the tiny things that make cameras work in smartphones. Currently, Sony's image sensor is in the iPhone, and they're just making bank off that because iPhones sell so well. But they're in other smartphones as well, I guess. And so Sony's focusing on those two things. As a video game panel, is this good news to you? Do you like this news?
I love image sensors.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy to me that Sony sort of lost that, reputation of superiority and like across electronics in general. But I mean, image sensors. I mean, that kind of reminds me and brings me back to the day, when Sony sound chip in the Super NES. It's being able to provide parts is definitely a hugely lucrative thing.
Well, and you get a. That's the whole angle is like Sony right now, yeah, they used to be really good at TVs and they used to be really good at audio stuff, and they're not anymore. Like Samsung makes better TVs and better phones and stuff, but like they get a piece of every Xbox One because of the Blu-ray player. They're getting pieces of all these phones.
The phone piece is way bigger too. Like this is their technology, whereas Blu-ray they're just part of it. Yeah.
Right, but like it's like Disney. Like if you license things, you just make insane money.
Yeah.
And like. Yeah, it makes total sense. Like, focus on the things that you're winning at and stop doing the things that you're not winning at.
It's crazy that PlayStation, their tiny little video game initiative, now has become this thing. I mean, PlayStation was never
good.
tiny. Yeah, and it's good.
PlayStation's good.
They're doing a good job.
20 years old, apparently, the original PlayStation.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
So, basically, Brandon, my other question is, do you think that we'll see them double down on PlayStation? 2 weeks ago we talked about PlayStation Vue is their TV initiative. It's called PlayStation Vue. Do you think they'll brand more PlayStation things going forward?
What do you mean PlayStation things? Oh, just call things PlayStation that are
like
kind
PlayStation Hex and all. I got my PlayStation Hex right here.
Well, describe this product, PlayStation Hex.
PlayStation Hex, it's like a Walkman. You slap it onto your ear, and you can also talk into it. It's very complicated.
X or Hex?
Hex.
H-E-X?
H-E-X-X.
You thought about this.
No, I haven't. All right. Brandon.
Well, I'm in it for the PS9. I actually was plugging in my
Remember
PlayStation
that?
4 when I.
Oh my
I thought of it,
God.
thought of it this morning because
Yeah.
I was plugging in my PS4 when I came into work, and I just saw that 4, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember when was it 2? When 2 came out,
I think it
right?
was
Yeah.
when 2 came out.
And it was the
PlayStation
PS9.
Yeah.
And
It was in
like,
the city.
Oh, man,
it was
I
that
can't
like.
wait.
It was like
It looked like a bowling ball, right?
Oh my God! It was so cool.
Yeah. It made me a little skeeved out because it looked like drugs. It looked like PlayStation 9 is drugs.
Yeah.
Because the ball opened up and you sniff in the PlayStation 9, right?
Yeah, full of nano machines.
Yeah.
Again,
I think by at least
Strange Days.
PlayStation 6 will have nano machines.
Yeah.
But
It'll be in your blood by 9 for sure.
I hope when companies announce something like that, like long-term initiatives like Destiny or Disney Infinity or something, where it's like, oh, we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
That they actually commit to that. And I just think you see the smile on their face when they say, PlayStation 4 when they announced that title, at the press conference as opposed to Xbox One. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
And it's just you can see that they're like, duh, it's the PS4. Like we told you, we're doing this. We're really committing to this, and it's
If they
paying off.
call-
Why wouldn't they go all in?
Yeah.
If they call the PS5 anything but the PS5, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think
No,
they
it's
love
classy.
that brand.
They're
why
intelligent.
That's why I'm pissed. So wait, so not having the subtitles classy? I thought you said it was classy because
Huh?
it had the
Not having
the
I'm not
scholar
talking
of
about
the original
subtitles.
sin.
I'm talking about stupid title changes. There was already an Xbox One. It was the Xbox One.
Well,
now
yeah.
there's an Xbox One. What? That's not confusing.
Well, that's why I'm bummed. It's Halo 5 Guardians. It's like, what? Why did you need that?
Yeah, Halo 5.
So I think it's because they've announced no more Halos after 5 will have a number after them.
Right.
So this is the transition period.
Which is really silly because they think they're like coddling us. They're like, you
Yeah.
couldn't handle the transition from Halo 5 to Halo Guardians, or if that was the next one.
Yeah.
So we're going to call this one Halo 5 Guardians to get you used to the idea of a subtitle.
Yes.
Also, Scholar of the First Sin is classy just because that phrase.
I'm not saying that subtitle is not classy.
That is
It is a
classy.
classy subtitle.
Yeah,
that's all I'm talking about.
I want to meet the scholar
Scholar
of the First Sin.
is the classiest thing I've ever heard.
Does he study other things other than the first sin though? Is he just
Probably
he
not.
He just
He's
opened
a
up the first
specialist.
chapter and was like, I need to focus on this more. Don't you read chapter 2 though? It's really that second sin, man.
I mean,
I
really,
thought the second sin was better than the first
The
sin.
first sin is the most interesting.
I
'cause
think to
it's-
be a scholar of anything, you have to be a sort of practiced scholar. Otherwise, you're just like weirdo obsessed with the first sin.
Right.
Yeah, the scholar of first sin has studied many things, but really focuses mostly on the first sin.
I think sloth is the first sin because he just got tired. He started studying that first sin and was just like,
But then got obsessed with it.
right.
Yeah. Then just like, I should reread that chapter. Okay.
Somewhere back there, I was gonna say something else, but I don't even remember what it was anymore.
Then why did you bring it up, Blood?
You're the one who started this.
You're the other one who started this.
Wow.
Let's do it. Let's do some more. You're the one who started this conversation, actually.
Hang on, let me fix this table.
Great transition, Brandon. For those who are only listening, Bloodworth for some reason kicked over a table.
No, I kicked it over.
I know.
I was gonna say,
Okay, I was like,
you're all managing this equipment, Ian. I mean, it's you
yeah,
you break it, you
watched
buy it.
I watched it. It didn't hit the battery or the power strip. It's cool.
That camera could be off right now, and we have no idea.
No, I can see it.
So actually, this first one, this is from Sold Invictus. We actually kind of covered a lot of this already, but it kind of feeds into the conversation we had. Do gaming sites have a responsibility towards their readers to let them know prior to release if a publisher has put a launch day, post-launch day review embargo on the game? Should we like announce when the review embargoes are coming? Do you know what I mean?
A lot of times we can't.
Yeah, should
That's
we?
part of the embargo.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's annoying.
But I mean, don't you
feel like a responsibility toward readers and
I mean,
viewers?
we definitely will tell people if a review's not coming until. I mean, I told people about The Crew before I found out what they were actually doing. It's like, hey, we're not gonna have this review up before you can buy it, so just be aware. But
everyone seemed to know with Unity that it was
yeah, that
8
got
hours
that.
after. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that got out there.
Yeah.
But you see, that's the thing. Like a big game will do that, and especially like you were saying, like a game people are ready to hate, and people are like, oh my gosh, this is so shit.
Yeah.
And like this happens like every month at least. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not a big deal. Every game has a review embargo of some kind. It's just sometimes people are annoying, and they put them on that morning instead of at midnight or something.
But it does really seem like publishers will put the embargo on or after the release if they're not confident in their game. Is that not the case?
It's not consistent enough to say that's the case.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, you wouldn't have got it done before then. If they made the embargo earlier, it wouldn't have made a difference because very few people, like, they would have had to have burrowed into Unity and done nothing else until they got that review done to have hit an earlier embargo. So I think sometimes part of that is just to kind of, again, like a lot of times the embargoes are to sort of level the playing field and make sure that people's reviews all come out at around the same time.
Putting the embargo after the launch, though,
No, I hate it.
is pretty bizarre.
But I have seen this year, I have actually started seeing people shift them back. It's like they had that originally, and then they go back. It's like, okay, no, midnight's okay. It's like, oh wait, no, East Coast. Okay, 9 p.m.'s okay.
Oh, you mean people? You mean publishers?
I've seen publishers changing the embargo and making it earlier because I'm pretty sure people are raising a stink.
And the people raising a stink are press.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Corporations are legally people.
Yeah, I guess that's why we
Well, there are individual
personify them in this
writers
country.
and editors in chief and all those sorts of things. Yeah.
we say Sony is cool instead of Sony are cool. In the US.
That's a question though.
Huh.
That's a debate.
Like in
among
our
linguists.
reviews, we say we think blah blah sometimes.
Yeah.
But they have a byline. Should it be I?
The reason we don't is because I read all the scripts. And I didn't
Oh,
review it.
right,
so if
right,
I'm saying I, it's not that.
That makes sense,
So
that
that's
makes sense.
disingenuous, so then that doesn't work.
And it's also
No, that
it's
would make
uncomfortable either way. We go
Yeah.
with the less uncomfortable
And
option.
it's also just, I
like
mean,
that.
it's a standard journalistic thing
True.
to say we. It's not
I'm
unusual.
trying to put you on the spot. I'm just
I
saying.
love when Brandon
No,
gives
it's
a
good.
simple answer.
No, it's totally, I'm
that's
like,
it,
oh yeah, okay,
Man,
yeah, totally. That makes sense.
I keep them in my pocket. I
That
got
totally
a
makes
whole, cache of simple answers right here. It's just
And
like,
you
oh
kind
my
of,
god.
you kind of half reviewed Pokemon
Done.
with Damiani.
Yes. He didn't take all of my input. I'm a little grumpy about. We'll talk next.
What are you grumpy about? Let me pull a Bossman and be like, what were you saying?
There are things where it's like, Damiani, why would you? Don't say that. That makes no sense. All right,
You have
I'll
to give
get
an example
specific.
or
Let's
he's
get
gonna-
very
or he's gonna
specific.
sound like a general
Just for
idiot.
this one thing, there's a part of the review where it's just like you can now sneak around other trainers if you're sneaky enough. You could do that since the first game. There's like people and NPCs who want to fight you, and they'll like move around or like walk around. Like that is Why would you even mention that in its review?
But wasn't he talking about the like tiptoe mechanics?
Yeah, tiptoe mechanic does not work on human beings. That works on Pokemon. Oh my
Never
gosh.
played it.
Whoa, retcon.
Well, you're the one who started this conversation. Delcast.
Delcast.
Oh, Delcast. Yeah, this is Delcast.
Delcast.
Very funny question. I really like this question. I think it'll. So, I'd love GT to be very successful, so you guys can do more things and all.
Never gonna happen.
But at the same time, what I appreciate most about GT today is that it feels like a small group where everyone knows your name. Just looking at what happens when the Twitch stream soars over 500-ish, it makes me wonder, do you guys fear growth? Does it make you somewhat scared that you might lose your personal touch? Is it viable to balance being popular and being close and personal?
Now I've got the Cheers theme song stuck in my head, so thanks for that, Delcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, man, I mean that's community building. I mean, like you don't like. I mean, yeah. Well, Thanksgiving was yesterday. We'll say yesterday. You don't like say, all right, nobody else can come. Like, there's a seat at the table. Like, if you need a place to come and sit down and have dinner. It's.
Oh,
That's like
I got goosebumps for that one. That's very nice.
That's community. Invite people. We'll have a good time. And. We're not all going to know everybody's name, but there's people from way back that, like, I recognize their names from the forums or whatever, and if I hadn't seen them for a long time, it's like, oh, hey, look, there's that guy, so that's, that's fine.
I think if the company got bigger, like more views or whatever, like, at first probably nothing would change. I don't know. And then eventually we'd just have to hire a few more people. But then you'd see them on
Yeah, I mean, we've lost
on
so many
screen.
people. Getting some more people
Yeah,
is not a
you'd
bad
see
thing.
them on screen and you'd get used to them too. So I don't know, hopefully we wouldn't sell out or become...
I don't think we ever even introduced Brad. I think Brad just like waltzed into
Yeah,
the
he was
Just
just
Play one
on
time.
video.
I was like, what? Who is this guy?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully we have... I think we all just like doing stuff and we just do what we like to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know that would change.
Right, Brandon, do you fear...
Simple answer.
Do you fear growth?
I fear growth in social media. I fear growth on Twitter because every now and then I'll just have one tweet or something that blows up and I'll get so many comments and I'm like, wow, that actually took me a little bit of time writing back to those people. And I never want to ignore people. Like every now and then someone will ask a question and I'm just like, we're under embargo, I can't answer that. Or like, I've already answered that. Or that's just a weird question and I'm not going to like address that. But like, I fear getting to a point where, because like every now and then I'll look at like Twitter followers and I'm like, man, I wish that number was 10 times that. And then the flip side of that makes me feel better at night, that makes me sleep, is yes, but if it was, that would become another job.
Yeah.
Is actually managing all of those comments and all that stuff and sifting through
That's
all of
true.
that.
You'd have to not respond to every
Right.
thing.
And that would
Like Kyle
suck.
Bossman.
That'd make me feel bad.
Like me.
If I had Kyle Bossman numbers.
Yeah.
Which are still awful.
Whoa.
When you get to a certain level, I'd say probably 6 digits, you're getting people who are starting to follow you who don't like you. You get
Or don't really know you that well.
Yeah, but I think even just like, oh, I hate that guy. I want to like be mean to him every day. You get those at that point.
Weird.
That's like it. Or at least we're not in that world.
What's the
I do fear
point of that? Somebody on Twitter the other day, I'm trying to remember, I won't even try, I can't remember the name, but say something in the thing if this is you. But we were talking, and they were saying some things that were like constructive, but kind of like smarmy too. Not smarmy, but like funny, like sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I said something, and then they were like, you're welcome, but I should just tell you, I am a big troll, so you shouldn't take what I say seriously. And I'm like, fair play, thanks for the warning. I was like, thanks. It was really funny.
I think it's crazy to be able to interact with anyone on, like any person can go and interact with any other person on Twitter. So you can be the normalest normal person and talk to Scarlett Johansson.
I mean, like even
Well, if it's
the
actually
author of
her.
the books
Yeah, I
I
don't
read,
even
like
know if she has
hugely
Twitter.
popular, but she writes me back. Yeah.
That's the thing, like George Takei on Facebook and Twitter, like, is a team of 30 people.
Is that true? I always
I don't
wondered
know
that.
if that's true, but
He's
I
like,
think it's true.
There are
he's
people
too
for
savvy.
sure.
Yeah,
He's almost too savvy.
He's got people working for it. He's like got clever media,
Yeah.
and they're tweeting things for him.
I almost believe that. He's too good at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's all in his kind of like purview or like
Mm-hmm.
taste spectrum or whatever, but like, because he seems like a rad guy, but like, yeah, that's a team of people.
Great. That's a
Well,
good team.
Another example of just having like just too much input or too much influx of comments and stuff is Jeff Keighley yesterday did a Twitch AMA about the Game Awards,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at that chat, and I mean, it was just flying by. Like, I could barely read any sentence that popped up there. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was gone, like, in a second. And so, like, when we stream stuff on Twitch, you know, I'll play a game every now and then. It's just like, okay, it's loading screen, or, you know, it's a cinema or something like that. Let me take time and address any questions that popped up. And it's like, you need to ask that question like 6 times in a row because it's gone. I missed it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's a fear. And that's actually maybe something that Twitch can do moving forward, where people can, like, vote up comments or something, and they can, like, rest in a different section. So you can have an area where it's like, oh, that's the most popular
That's
comment.
a cool idea.
Brandon, that's a good idea.
Or, like,
Little
specifically
Reddit
questions where everyone's like, oh, yeah, you can click on something and be like, thumb that up, thumb that up.
Trademark.
That's a sick idea.
Sell
So
that
it's
to
like, if
Twitch.
I want to take a pause, or like at the end of the video, if it's like, all right, I'm going to take the last 5 minutes of my stream and address the big questions that I didn't answer. Oh, there they all are in a little convenient spot.
Wow, that's a really good
As
idea.
opposed to just like, you just happened to ask that question right when I noticed. So you win.
Yeah, you know what also sucks is I end up answering the questions that are in all caps because they are easier to see, and I hate all caps.
Not to mention I'm an old man, and if the monitor's way back there, it's like, right?
Who's that, Delcast? Who's that? Okay, one last question. This is actually from a while ago, but I always wanted to talk about this. This is from snoozer_neo. Hiring indies to make abandoned IPs owned by Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, i.e. Medieval, Rare Games, Star Tropics, etc. Not really phrased as a question, but as a topic for conversation. Do you think that's a good idea? Hiring like indie developers to handle your IP that you're doing nothing with?
If you give, it depends on if you give them. Like, that's the thing is like, I think he says that in No Country for Old Men. He's like, you find the one right tool, and
Yeah.
you trust that tool to do it. Like,
Is
so
he
if you're-
referring to the thing that the cow punch thing that like he
No,
kills
no,
people
he's
with?
talking about himself.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, you hired other people to track down this money. You
Yeah.
hired me, and I was the right person to do it.
Got it.
Anyway, no, that's not important. It was an example, and it took too long. But the thing is, like, if they're hiring these companies because they're that company, and we're like, we like your voice, and we want you to do this game the way that you would do this game. Here you go. You have total authority, carte blanche. Have fun. Here's Crash Bandicoot. Make it gritty. You know, like, that's cool. You know, but like, if they're like, we want you to make this game, and here's how you're gonna make it, and blah blah blah, like, do it our way, then that's like, don't hire that company. Just
Yeah.
do it yourself.
Yeah, well, I think it kind of goes back to the Killer Instinct thing with Double Helix, right?
Worked
Like,
out. It worked out
that-
marvelously.
yeah, they got people, they hired people that were really in love with that game. I think, Microsoft, now that Ken Love is on their team and he worked on the original game, they had him to kind of supervise and help out. But they still put their own flavor on it and did their own thing with it. I don't know if the reactions to Season 2 have been as favorable now that Iron Galaxy is working on it. But I still haven't followed that story as closely as I did the first time around. I'm curious how many people jumped ship and just went from Double Helix and got hired at Iron Galaxy and kept working on the game. I'd be really curious to find out.
That's fair. I mean, it's a pretty big game,
Yeah.
Killer Instinct. And it's working. Brandon, would you want to see more things like that?
Yes, I would like to see. I don't know if this is another idea that can be patented, but I'd like to see a Kickstarter that has nothing to do with money. That's literally just like petitions. I'm sure this exists, but like, so you have a development studio that's like, we have the money actually. We just don't, like SSX is a great example. I love that franchise. Like, everybody hated the new SSX. I loved it, and I actually was kind of bummed when it became switched from SSX Dark Descents or Deep Descents or Scary Descents or whatever it's called, and just became
Deadly Descents?
Deadly Descents. It just became SSX because then it's like, oh no, they're putting all their eggs in this basket and it's not going to sell as much as they want, and then the franchise is going to go away forever. And it's going to come back 20 years from now when we get new consoles, and they're going to try it again, and like, as opposed to just making another entry, just make another one's fun. And then that's it. Don't have like too high expectations. So it'd be interesting if you had a development studio that they're like, we have the money, we have the talent, we just don't have the rights. And so they propose to a company like, let us make another game in your franchise. And then it'd be interesting if that company agreed. They're like, okay, if you can get 500,000 people to say yes to that, then we'll do it. Then we'll give you the rights. And then we'll open up the negotiation table. But like, we just don't think it's that popular. Just to kind of gauge like how many people would be interested in that.
Yeah. It's so tricky though. I mean, basically, a lot of us want to like a lot of games, and those games just turn out awful. There's so much more to like that yes or no to me than are there enough people who would want to buy the end product.
I just think there's some franchises that you play whether they're awful or not. I just love that dynamic, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah.
And I just want more of it. Sonic Boom, it's like some people just whatever. I don't care. It's a Sonic anything, but it doesn't matter. It's like all nut jobs giving it low scores and pooping all over Sega and forcing them to make drastic, crazy decisions with this franchise. Like I don't care. I just want more Sonic.
I don't think Sonic fans think reviewers are nut jobs. I think Sonic fans know what they're buying.
Yeah, at this point that they don't make a good Sonic game anymore.
There's been good Sonic games. Sonic fans think that
Sonic
there have been
Hedgehog
good Sonic
2
games.
was good.
Blood, how about you? What old IP do you think could lend itself well to like an indie developer?
Oh, well, I mean, I think there's rumors going around already, but I mean, the Battletoads, for sure.
Yes,
Battletoads.
absolutely yes.
You see something, like, if it was on the level of, like, a Donkey Kong Country Returns?
Well, it won't be because it's an indie developer.
Well, I mean, the indie developers can do some cool stuff.
They can't do Donkey Kong Country Returns. Let's not go that far.
But yeah, I mean, they could definitely do some cool stuff. And the thing is, Battletoads is like, some of its difficulty is entirely being, like, just unfair to the player. So it would be cool to see like some modern sensibility put on it and like make it hard, but don't make it like.
Imagine
stupid.
a Battletoads you can beat level 3 on. Yeah, that is pretty
Impossible.
exciting. Yeah.
No way.
I mean, Dark Souls is stupid and unfair, and Ian likes it.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Wow.
It's like life.
It's true. Dark Souls is like life.
Stupid. Unfair.
But except the only difference is I don't really like life all that much.
You like Dark Souls more than life?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Dark Souls
makes
everything
sense.
is regulated. Yeah.
Dark Souls
everything
makes sense. There are rules.
Yeah.
Life is just total garbage and it never gives you a break.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.
Okay, so let's do a closing bet. Black Friday is
Oh, no.
today. Today is Black Friday. Monday is Cyber Monday.
3 dead.
People in the don't do that.
Walmart. 3 crushed.
Why would you do that?
man.
I,
Because
did
that is
I bet that on Mandatory Editor a while ago. I think that's gonna happen.
that's almost too dark for this show. I feel
true.
like.
It's true. I'm sorry. I'll save that for Mandatory.
But yeah. Obviously, we're gonna do a lot of spending. I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna flip this bet because right now it's too easy. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Before next week's episode, when I go to Amazon, I search for Amiibo, and then I click to sort by new and popular. Which Amiibo will be the least popular? It used to be most popular, but I don't think it'll change too much. Which Amiibo is the least popular?
We need a
Amiibo?
list. We need a list of all the Amiibo.
Is Samus the most popular?
Link is the most popular right
Yeah,
now.
Link could.
And I honestly don't think that'll change. But I don't even know. I didn't even look who is the least popular Amiibo.
I don't even know which Amiibos there are.
Right.
Pretty much anything in Smash Brothers except for the hidden ones.
Wii
Yes.
Fit Trainer.
Well, you don't get to go first.
Is that one?
That is
I'm
one.
asking
It
if that's
is.
one.
Really
And it's a
good
really
pick.
good bet. That was going to be my
damn
pick.
it.
I mean, that's the easy bet.
I
That's,
ruined
All right.
it.
Since I asked a really tough question, I'll go last. So Ian, yeah, you can take
Okay,
Wii
I'll
Fit
do Wii
Trainer.
Fit Trainer.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I ruined the bet.
I'm trying to remember what all the other ones are though.
Kirby's in that first run. Pikachu's in that first run. Fox McCloud is in that first run.
Rosalina, is she in there?
She's not in that first run.
Shulk is not in there yet, right?
Shulk is a GameStop exclusive.
So that's not on Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Because that would be the one.
Yeah, maybe I'll go with Fox then if he's in that first run. But I mean, Wii Fit Trainer is going to be less popular
Here's the
than
thing:
Fox.
you can probably pre-order the other ones.
Uh-oh.
You just
You're
colored
putting-
your
you're
lip
putting
with
the-
your pen.
The front of a ballpoint pen in your mouth. Open.
I'm sorry, I got excited by this thought. I
There's
think
a mark
if,
on your
There's
lip.
ballpoint pen on your mouth.
I think we can pre-order the other Amiibos on Amazon. I think that the range of least popular Amiibo may have grown.
Yeah, and a pre-order will probably be smaller than ones you can get.
Do you want to lock yours in though, Blood?
Is it
Sure.
that important?
I can't remember what the others are.
It's
so.
very important. These bets are extremely important. So you're going to Fox
It's all Kyle
McCloud?
has.
Fox McCloud.
Okay. Brandon.
Is Marth available?
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
crap!
going with Marth.
Great pick. Brandon Jones.
No, Wii Fit Trainer's going to win. Are you
Jones.
kidding me? Marth has a sword. It's like
Yeah.
automatically way cooler. Than
Way cooler than Wii Fit. Wii Fit Trainer's cute though, sort of, for a weird,
if you're into mannequins.
blown out. Yeah.
What's weird is if I play with a male Wii Fit Trainer, I still get the trophy in the game for the female one.
Yeah.
It's strange.
The female one's canon.
The female one is canon.
There's a male Wii Fit trainer?
See?
Yeah.
Case
Wow.
in point.
In reverse, if you're playing through as Robin as a female,
Yes, I also did
you're gonna
that.
get the male Robin
Yep.
trophy. I'm going with Villager.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, yeah.
I think Villager might not do too well. Least popular amiibo. All right, I'm gonna lock those in.
The weirdest.
Yeah. It's more fun than most popular because then like the person who gets Link wins, and then maybe Mario, but then like after that it's tough.
Samus
Pikachu.
is 3.
I think Pikachu might be 3.
Samus was like selling for like crazy money,
Ooh,
apparently.
well that means it's rare.
So are the stupid adapters.
This is why I
Yeah,
almost think
that's
Brandon's
insane.
idea is a good idea. I think some video game companies don't know how much we like certain video games. They just look at sales and they don't
Yeah.
know like how much Samus means to us.
If someone makes a good, non-ridiculously sexist Super Metroid again, like 2D actual.
Are you saying the
Metroid-
first Super Metroid was super sexist?
No, I'm saying Other M was super.
Oh, okay. all right.
Other M was ridiculous.
right.
Bad game, but also just offensive.
Yeah, so like Nintendo, like looking through their numbers, just like, should we make a new Metroid? No, look at Other M
Yeah,
sales.
Other M didn't do great.
Yeah,
And I'm like, what? Super Metroid, Prime 3 Corruption.
yeah.
God!
They don't even know. They
Do it
don't know
again.
how much we want exactly. So that's why I think Brandon's idea might be pretty solid of just this like, let us show you how much we
Yeah.
like this thing.
Yeah.
Got some good ideas today.
Yeah, you're on it. That Twitch thing, woo!
I'm half convinced that Retro is going to do a 2D Metroid. I have nothing to base it on, but I think
If they do,
Blood's
I
predictions
will
always come true.
I will buy a Wii U and only ever play that game on.
That 2D one it's a
Yes.
Wii U game, the 2D Metroid?
yeah.
Oh, it could be a 3DS game as
No,
well.
I would be a Wii U game, but
Wow.
yeah, like
I would buy a Wii U.
after what they did with Tropical Freeze. Yeah, they could
Oh
do
my
that thing
God.
right.
Without feeling any doubt, I would walk into Best Buy, pay a ridiculous markup, and just for Metroid.
I'm sorry to do this to you two, but I would much prefer a 3D. I want that Prime. I'd much
I would
rather have
enjoy a
game.
Prime, but I think that they could very easily blow it out of the water with a 2D one.
I would not buy a Wii U
For
without
new Prime
thinking
game.
about it for a 3D.
I got you.
I think
I would
about this.
think
Think
about
about
it
this.
and then probably do it.
Think about this. If they made a 3D one, you would get to play an old version of like the Prime games that you loved that would have some new ideas and look a lot better and like, you know, maybe like a little bit bigger and have some new enemies and stuff like that. But if you were to play a 2D a classic format, they could make that 80 billion times bigger, better, more badass than
It could
any
be
of the old,
insane.
2D Metroids that they made. I mean, the scalability of like how they, how huge that world could be, and
Listen, I hear what you're
Metroid
saying.
ways you could do a Symphony of the Night, flipping it and all
Dude,
sorts
yeah.
of stuff.
Metroid Prime would be another good HD re-release.
Oh, heck yeah.
The trilogy, because like that trilogy is like impossible to get, right?
Yeah,
costs,
plus
like,
it was still an
$200.
SD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has Nintendo done any Wii U HD re-releases yet?
Wind
The Wind
Waker.
Waker.
Ah, yes.
7.8.
Forgot about that one. Sorry.
Origin of the 7.8. Let's talk about last week's bet. This was a funny one too. Good lord. We looked at how many members Smashboards had, and then tried to predict how many they would have today
I remember.
after one weekend of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U being out. The number last week was 162,118. Today it is 163,143. They only picked up a little over 1,000.
We're all way up.
Mine was like 2 or
Yeah. So I went way low on that one. I win that bet, which puts.
What did you say? What number did you say?
I said 170. So none of us were even close
I
to
said
right.
178. I remember that.
200.
Yeah.
Out of control.
Yeah. That was foolish. So now I am at 7 points. Pulled ahead of Damiani again. No, got ahead of Brandon
ahead of me,
again.
yeah.
Yeah. Because Damiani is at 9 and Bloodworth still leading at 12 points. That's our episode for this week.
Do we lock in?
Yeah,
I locked in those bets.
At 50
Checking.
minutes.
Ian takes notes of those.
I'm not spending my Thanksgiving vacation chasing bets around, man. I'm not
I understand.
Doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh, you have no idea how much that would bug me. Can I tell you something though? That Halloween, when we all got our little proto packs and we were trying to lock in those bets, I had a good time.
Well, it's like E3, you know what I mean? It's like you're stressed out during it, and then
Yeah.
afterwards, like, God, that we were all together and working and stuff. But like during it, it's just like I want to be
Yeah.
anywhere else other than here right
It's
now.
a good
doing what I'm doing.
memory, but not a good experience.
Boom. It's like you fall and you get a concussion. Like, sure, you'll laugh about it later, but
Yeah.
nobody wants that.
I got to pick a video to plug. Oh my gosh. We played Dungeons and Dragons this week. with Chris, who's a writer. What's Chris's last name?
Perkins?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And
Perkins, not Perkins.
Yeah. No, that's
however you want to
it's
pronounce
Dutch.
that was huge. That was so cool. That was so fun. That'll be going. It's already up on the site at this point.
3 hours.
Went up on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Again, just go to Google and type
3
in
hours.
Dungeons and Dragons game trailers. It'll show up.
It'll still be in the massive.
Oh,
today,
okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully.
And then that was so fun. That was a 3-hour epic. He is a master of what he does, and it was so fun. We'd be reading out spells in the book. He's like, I wrote that one. And then like watching Huber read out this crazy spell and him kind of smiling to himself as it's read aloud to him. That was a moment. That was really, really fun.
Like
That-
dungeon master is a word you just kind of throw around. It's like
Yeah.
he is a dungeon master.
Yeah. Master
with
Dungeon
capitals and a TM behind it.
Yeah. Man, he was cool. He was a really, really cool guy. That was a blast.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Story arc too. Like we played new characters, and the whole episode has like an arc.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-hour Lord of the Rings movie.
Yes.
Well,
But
Lord of the
except
Rings
better.
movies are 3 hours.
Right.
And,
Lord of the Rings, I'm just kidding.
That's it. Here are our Twitter names. Again, don't like. Maybe think about not following Brandon. He's a little scared of getting too many people.
Yeah, I know. It's getting out of control here. I'm almost at 5,000 and I'm starting to get the shakes.
No, follow Brandon and talk to
I wonder
him.
if that'll work. Don't follow me.
It definitely does work. Yeah, yeah.
10,000 people.
Ask him questions. He wants to talk to you. We mean that though, so that's cool. And happy Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. If you're everywhere else, happy normal weekend. And we hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching.
I love.